The script is complete, the casting is done, and they've actually started filming, at least the initial filming of James Gunn's Superman Legacy film, or at least it was called Superman Legacy. We've got some big updates since the filming started, including a name change to the film. We've got a teaser of what the Superman logo is and what that actually kind of portends, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you think about what James Gunn has actually said about what was Superman Legacy is now just Superman. And then we have some other news and thoughts about this entire production. And there are a lot of things working against James Gunn and the DCU at this moment. Warner Brothers stock prices have tanked. They had a string of DCEU failures, basically to round out the initial version of the shared superhero universe that Warner Brothers put out for DC. You know, you just had The Flash, we had what was it, Black Adam, Shazam, Fear of the Gods. Now, it does appear there's a pretty darn good chance that the Aquaman The Lost Kingdom actually broke even. And if it didn't break even, it got really damn close. So that was certainly an improvement over the way that the previous films were performing. So there are a lot of things moving against James Gunn. And it does appear, well, there's a lot of rumors that they're hoping this first movie does well, so Warner Brothers Discovery can break up, sell off the Warner Brothers portion, and just become Discovery again. James Gunn needs to put his head down and make this thing a success if he ever wants to see his 10-year DCU plan all the way through. And here's the latest update. Drop the Legacy. James Gunn revealed that his new Superman movie will simply be called Superman, writing in a post celebrating the first day of filming. When I finished the first draft of the script, I called the film Superman Legacy. By the time I locked the final draft in, it was clear the title was Superman, making our way to you July of 2025. Obviously, this is a pretty substantial change regarding the name of the movie, dropping the Legacy portion and just going with the name of Superman. I think this is probably the right call. We haven't had a Superman movie just called Superman since 1978. You know, that was the year I was born. I'm 45 years old. Actually, I guess I'm 46 now. My goodness. So it was 46 years ago. We can probably just reuse the name at this point as a stepping off point for the new DCU, which needs to focus around Superman, which is traditionally the beginning point of the DC history when it comes to superheroes arriving at the forefront and changing the universe as we know it. So the Legacy title could have been interesting, but it's probably just best just to call it Superman and let people know this is the definitive Superman for the new DCU moving forward. And a new day is upon us. You know, no more Man of Steel, no more Superman Returns or any of that crap, no Superman Legacy. We are just going with Superman. Although I do have some apprehension regarding James Gunn's understanding of Superman, and I've spoken to this at length, but there was a quote not that long ago that I probably should have covered, but I missed. So we'll hit it right here. Gunn is writing and directing the feature, and he stated, I completely relate to Superman because he's everything I am. This is what Gunn told the Hollywood Reporter last year. He's somebody who is an outsider who feels like an alien, but also the ultimate insider because he's fucking Superman. And that's kind of like what I feel like. I don't know. Like, I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of Superman. I understand why some people have a different perspective, but I've never seen this one to where, like, I clearly am Superman because I'm so awesome. The only hero out there that could be me would be Superman, the ultimate outsider who feels like an alien. Certainly, you know, he is Kryptonian. He does have powers that have been derived, and he does have to hide those powers. You know, what his family has had to hide those to basically save him, from being tested on all that kind of stuff. So he certainly has the feel of an outsider, but also the ultimate insider. Like, that's not a good takeaway, or I don't think that's a good interpretation of Superman. He's the best that all of us could be. He's the thing that we should all aspire to be. We shouldn't really be able to relate to being Superman. We should want to be like Superman because he is almost like a Masonic type of figure to where he has the power of a god. If he wanted to, and we've certainly seen interpretations in Elseworlds types of stories and in the Injustice universe, Superman has the power and the ability to take over the world and rule us like a dictator if he really wanted to. He has that kind of power, but he has so much love in his heart. He has so much compassion. He has so much humanity about him, even though he isn't human, you know, he is Kryptonian, that it makes him something that we should all aspire to be, to treat people with kindness and goodness and love and respect, and go out there and do the right thing, even when nobody's watching, or do the right thing, even when it doesn't really serve our own best interest or our own personal interest in the situation. And I think that's what you should probably be taking away from Superman, not like, I'm so fucking awesome, you know, I am Superman kind of thing. So maybe he was just bragging there or being facetious or maybe a little bit of sarcasm. Because when I think James Gunn, I don't go, man, that guy's like the Superman of fucking movie directors. Like he's a flawed guy. I don't think Superman would have made the pedophile jokes that got him in trouble in the first place. And I think Superman would have more reverence for superheroes in the ilk. You go back to the Peacemaker TV show that James Gunn did that I like, which I think is quite enjoyable and really, really funny. But he absolutely takes the piss right out of Superman and the other members of the Justice League, because a lot of times it doesn't feel like James Gunn, while he certainly likes superheroes and has had a lot of success making superhero films, even before he did Guardians of the Galaxy, like he doesn't maybe see them as aspirational. He almost sees them as like comedy fodder or something like that. So I don't know. Is that how you guys take Superman? He's the ultimate outsider who feels like an alien, but he's also the ultimate insider because he's so awesome he's Superman? Or do you think he's somebody that you should aspire to be, that you should be learning from, like the way that he treats people, the way that he uses his power for basically the good of everybody? I don't know. Maybe James Gunn is just a little conceited or something like that, or maybe I'm reading too much into it. Definitely like to hear from you guys. We also know director James Gunn teased connections to DC's Kingdom Come storyline in his upcoming Superman movie. The Kingdom Come teases began in December of 2022, just 1 month into his reign as DC Studios co-CEO, as he shared the most iconic image from the storyline and its Superman with the caption "making plans." And now, as production is just getting underway on Superman, Gunn revealed the official logo for the new Man of Steel. While the red and yellow color scheme of the logo may differentiate it from the distinctive red and black of the Kingdom Come Superman ensemble, its unique pattern reveals clear similarities. And that's where I get a little bit confused, because when he talked about Superman Legacy and what this was going to be, it was going to be a very early on iteration of Superman, just discovering his powers, probably just coming out as a superhero in the DC universe, a protector of Metropolis and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's not what Kingdom Come is. Kingdom Come is an older, withered, almost jaded Superman in the future, where he and the other Justice League members and JSA members have kind of all stepped back and retired, and they let the next generation of superheroes come to the forefront. And the next generation basically just like ruined everything, and they didn't use their powers for the good of man. They kind of used their powers for the good of themselves and basically ruined the world. And Kingdom Come is about Superman returning, withered and tired, and seeing that these guys have made a mockery of their legacy, with the other older superheroes who return and put things back the way that they were supposed to be, return the respect and adoration to superheroes that the world used to have, which obviously had waned under the leadership and the antics of the next generation of superheroes, which if you read it in modern times, it feels very apt at this time. And I'm not saying there's nothing to take away from that story. It's absolutely amazing, but it doesn't really happen early on in Superman's career. This is like Elseworlds, decades upon decades after Superman is past his prime kind of thing, and Batman is so withered and beat up he has to have a mechanical suit just to be able to walk, and it's absolutely fantastic. Alex Ross put his heart and soul in that book, and Mark Waid got very lucky that he brought him on board and let him finish off, I guess, some of the dialogue and whatnot. So it never really made sense that he was saying making plans, showing Superman, in Kingdom Come, and then also calling it Superman Legacy, talking about it is going to be early on. The only way I could see kind of doing this maybe is if there's already superheroes in the DC universe and they've messed things up, maybe like a Watchmen type of situation where they weren't really good superheroes. Maybe they were only out for their own self-interest and stuff like that. And Superman arrives in a very young state to kind of show everybody what a real superhero really is and put things right. But that doesn't really make sense either, because technically when in the DC universe, like the age of superheroes doesn't arrive until Superman arrives, with his landing on Earth from Krypton and all that kind of stuff. So it gets really confusing. We have seen this version of the logo, the Kingdom Come version of Superman, I guess during the CW. They did a Kingdom Come, crossover event between their television shows, where we had Brandon Routh, who plays, I think he plays the Atom in Legends of Tomorrow. He was returning to his role as Superman, but he was the old, withered Kingdom Come Superman. Probably one of the highlights of all the stuff that they did at the CW universe. And, Kingdom Come would be a really, really cool movie. Doesn't make sense to kick off your DCU with the Superman story revolving around that, but that clearly is the Kingdom Come logo. But instead of the black, you have the traditional gold highlights to the red lettering or whatever. So it could be interesting. Perhaps he just really likes the logo. But you see in the logo that it's related to Kingdom Come, and then him saying, I'm making plans, and then showing the most iconic image associated with the Kingdom Come story definitely makes you feel like maybe he's leaning more on Kingdom Come rather than All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison, which we were told was the original blueprint or template for what James Gunn Superman was gonna be. At that time, Superman Legacy, and now Superman. So it gets a little bit confusing, but I guess you just have to have faith in this stuff that he's going to be able to pull it home. And I certainly hope that's the case, but I still definitely have a lot of concerns that James Gunn, is more of a comedic type of director. He likes little cringy, edgy moments and stuff like that really aren't going to work for a Superman-like character. And like I said, I've already seen him take the piss out of Superman, and it didn't seem like he had a whole lot of reverence for the character. We do have some more casting news. Wendell Pierce, perhaps best known for his work as a detective on HBO's seminal crime series The Wire, has been cast as the iconic editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet in James Gunn's Superman. The character of Perry White is a Man of Steel fixture, first introduced in a Superman radio serial in 1940. He is the boss of both Kent and Lois Lane, and depending on the incarnation, can be tough as nails boss, the harried by his reporter's boss, or a father figure boss. I guess this is interesting or important casting announcements. Normally, Perry White is certainly important to the Superman mythos, especially around the Daily Planet and all that stuff. They are the employers of Lois Lane and Clark Kent and all that. But certainly in the past, like J. Jonah Jameson has a more distinct personality and is probably a bigger figure in the Spider-Man universe, because not only is he Peter Parker's boss, but he's also one of the biggest detractors, one of the biggest people out there, always calling for Spider-Man's head, calling him the biggest nemesis. Perry White has certainly done stuff like that. There are different iterations of the character. Wendell Pierce is a pretty darn good actor. I really like The Wire. I thought he was really good in there. Is he going to be good as Perry White? I'm not really sure. They've already race swapped the Perry White character in movies when they did Man of Steel with Lawrence Fishburne, I believe, was playing Perry White at that time. Probably not a key aspect of what the character's identity or role in the movie is going to be. I imagine he's going to be yelling out, "Where's my headline?" Or "I got a deadline to meet." Or "Lois, you're the best reporter that I got. Take Clark with you," because he's learning the ropes or something like this, because it's the early on version of the character. But, the guy's a good actor. Perry White's, important to the Superman mythos. Probably not going to be like one of the 2 or 3 biggest characters in the entire movie, but there you go. More casting news. Obviously, they're rounding that out as they are actually filming now. I think they're in Norway right now, which certainly indicates that there's going to be a heavy amount of the Fortress of Solitude within the film. And then I think they're going down to Georgia probably to record the stuff that's supposed to be in Metropolis and all that kind of stuff. So there we go. Filming is underway. We've got a name change. We have further indications that the movie might be tied to the Kingdom Come storyline. Further indications that James Gunn might not really get the character of Superman, and more casting news. There we go. If you are excited for Superman, not Legacy, in July of 2025, let me know in the comments section. And what do you think about all this news? Are you excited? Are you not excited? If you're excited for more comic book and pop culture content, I do want to invite you to go check out the Patreon. There's a link in the video description. 8 hours of new podcasts every single week featuring your favorite guests like Doc, 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser, Aaron Sparrow, Jim from Weird Science. Obviously, you get a heaping helping of yours truly as we talk about comic books and movies and video games and TV shows and all that stuff around comic books. Invite you to go check that out because we have a ton of fun there and you're going to enjoy it.